Hey, very good morning, students. Let us look into our next topic, understanding or introduction of sequential circuit and understanding about the clock signal. So, what is a sequential circuit? Sequential circuit is a combination of combinational circuit and memory. Can you see? This is a sequential circuit. It is a combination of what? Combinational circuit and memory. We know what is combinational circuit. Combinational circuit is a circuit whose output depends upon the input. If I take this combinational circuit along with the memory, I call it a sequential circuit. Clear? So in sequential circuit, the output not only depends upon the present input but also on the previous output. So that is very important step. So what is a sequential circuit? The output not only depends upon the present input but also on the previous output which has come as the feedback. Okay, so this is sequential circuit. Now the data which has come as a feedback is coming via what? Memory. So what is the kind of memory we are going to use? We can use flip-flops or latches in a sequential circuit as a memory element. Okay. Now, what are the different examples of sequential circuits? Counters, registers are the example for sequential circuits. Before getting into it, let us see classification of sequential circuits. The sequential circuits is classified into two types. One is synchronous sequential circuit, other one is asynchronous sequential circuit. What a synchronous sequential circuit is? The memory element which is used in the sequential circuit work with same clock pulse. Okay, there is only one clock pulse. The memory element works with same clock pulse. Whereas in asynchronous sequential circuits, the memory elements will work with different clock pulses. So what is the difference between synchronous and asynchronous? Synchronous means the circuit, the memory element work with same clock pulse. What is asynchronous sequential circuit? The memory elements work with different clock pulses. Okay, you will understand it better when we go to the clock pulse. So what is a clock? For the students who want to know what is a clock, clock is a signal. Clear? Since it is digital signal, we are writing it as a pulses, digital pulses. 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. Okay. So clock is a signal that is used in digital circuits. Since we are using the signal in digital circuit, that should be in the nature of digital. So it is 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1 and 0. So this is called positive cycle and this is called negative cycle. A positive and negative will form one time period. Okay. So I call it as T on, T off. You call the positive as on state, negative as off state. Time period for on is T on, time period for off is T off. T on and T off together will form a time period total T. Okay. Now let us see what is a duty cycle. You know duty cycle is time period required in the on state by T. Okay. So is it half of my T? T on is half of my T. So I write T on is T by 2. Okay, by T. T and T will get cancelled. 1 by 2 will be 0.5. So duty cycle is 0.5. You know frequency is 1 by time period. Now what is that I need to understand is, what is this clock? How the output changes when the clock changes. Okay. So this we will understand now. Now this clock, if you say, there need to be triggered. If see, you know sequential circuit is a circuit whose output changes when there is a change in input as well as in the past output. So the output depends not only on the input but also on the past output. The past output is stored in a memory element. So this memory element, if I use flip-flop, it uses clock. Okay. So what kind of clock? How I'm going to trigger the clock so that the output changes is what we are going to see. Okay, there are two types of triggering. So there are two types of clock triggering. What are they? Edge triggering and level triggering. So we will see what is edge and what is level in a clock. Okay, edge triggering means what? Can be either positive or negative. So I call it as positive edge triggering and negative edge triggering. Level triggering can be two types, positive level triggering and negative level triggering. Let us see what is edge, what is level, then let us see what is positive and what is negative. So this is my clock pulse. The 1 0 1 0 1 0. It's a clock pulse digital signal. If the clock rises from low to high, can you see the clock rises from low to high? I call this triggering as what? Positive edge triggering. Okay, so what is edge triggering? If the circuit gets activated at the edges, can you see? This is an edge. This is an edge. This is an edge. This is an edge. If the circuit activates at the edges, I call it as edge triggered. If the circuit activates during the levels, can you see positive level, negative level, positive level, negative level. If it activates in the levels, I call level triggering. So the circuit will activate either at the edge or at the level. Now, in edge, we have two types, positive and negative. Now, we understand what is positive and what is negative. If the edge moves from low to high, I call positive. If the edge if the clock falls from high to low, then I call negative edge. So, can we see where are the positive edges? The clock is moving from low to high in the edge, positive edge, low to high, positive edge, low to high, positive edge. If the clock falls from high to low, coming from high to low, negative edge, high to low, negative edge, high to low, negative edge. If the clock is high during the positive level triggering, can you see this is positive level and this is negative level. So this is level triggering. The level triggering can be positive or negative. This is positive. This is negative. During this clock is low, negative. This is positive. This is negative. So now I know what is edge triggering. Edge triggering means at the edges. Level triggering means either at the top or at the bottom levels. This levels can be positive level or negative level. Positive level or negative level. Done. Now let us see a small example of SR flip-flop. SR, so two inputs, S input, R input. Flip-flop, definitely a clock signal should be given to a flip-flop because output, so what are the outputs? Q and Q bar. In a flip-flop, the output, you get the output only if there is a change in clock. So clock is very important in flip-flops. You get the output only if there is a change in clock. So now this clock is of several types, positive edge, negative edge, positive level, negative level. Now let us see the symbols for it. If the clock is represented like this, a small triangle, then I call it as positive edge. Now this is positive edge. It means SR flip-flop will be working, will be activated only during what? Positive edge. In the rest of the time, it will not work. It will be in a deactive state. It will be triggered in the positive edge. Clear? Now see this symbol, a bubble and a triangle, this symbol indicate negative edge. Without any bubble, triangles, all this, a single line indicate it is level triggering. Single line with the bubble indicates negative level triggering. Okay? Single line, positive level triggering. Single line with bubble, negative level triggering. So now we have understood that what is sequential circuit, what is a clock, how the clock is activated. The clock is activated either in edge triggering method or level triggering. Edge means the circuit will be activated during the edges. Level means the circuit will be activated during the levels. Edge is of two types, positive and negative. Positive means 0 to 1, negative means 1 to 0, 1 to 0. Level top level is positive, bottom level is negative. So these are the symbols for clock for all different combinations. Thank you.